Hey everyone. Hey everyone. Um, I hope everyone is doing well today. This, I guess, little talk is called Unity in this New Community. I've been talking lately. Sorry I didn't come on yesterday, but it was kind of crazy. Anyway, I've been talking lately with this COVID crisis and us not being able to gather. I've been talking about creating a new community and having peace in the storm and all of that. And God said to me on unity in this new community. He said it is very important now more than ever, now that we can't gather in physical locations, to create a different kind of unity. I saw different pastors from different churches just coming together and creating one unified church. I even saw them playing games on YouTube as with their members, which this church would play against this church, and this pastor would be on the team of the other pastor, just to create some fun and unity. Now, I'm not suggesting we do exactly this, but I'm suggesting that we need to create togetherness when we can't be together, which is a challenge. And I think in this uncertainty, fear, and distress, I think God is trying to create a new normal and to create a new normal. And I think if we let Him, He'll just change the trajectory. He'll just change the way we see church and how it's supposed to be built. And I think for years we think church is one way, and it's really another. Church is not a building. Church is the people of God. So, I think this would be a time for different churches, different things to come together online and worship the Lord. I even saw different prayer teams coming together to pray together. I saw different worship teams coming together to pray together. I saw all of this just creating a oneness. And I think the Lord is trying to do two things as far as I can see it. He's trying to unify the church, and he's trying to teach the church a different way of doing church, that we don't lose the essence of assembling together in the house of God, but we change what that assembling physically, because I heard a preacher say this week, we may need to have uh, physical distance, but that doesn't mean we need to have spiritual distance. So check on your family, check on your friends, check on the people in your life, make a phone call, make sure that they're okay. Um, find different ways to assist them without, endangering your safety. I think this is a new, I sense that this is a new paradigm that God is having us go through together. And I think if we manage this moment correctly, church will be brighter, church will be better, church will be a more full experience if we can understand what the Lord is doing. And it's different at each church, at each person. So I really sense that leaders, pastors need to get down on their knees and say, Lord, what does this mean for my church? What new strategies do you want me to put in place for my church? Do you want me to put in new health strategies, new spiritual strategies, implement new online programs? I think the Lord really wants to equip pastors with strategies they haven't thought of before, with things never done before. And I think that's why he's using COVID to, he's saying now that you can't gather, it's time to have unity with the churches. We've been separated for too long by different things, and one of the things that COVID has done has made it possible that we can see that it's the great equalizer, that it doesn't matter if you're rich or poor or a prime minister's wife or a homeless person on the street. Anyone could get COVID. Anyone can be affected by it. Anyone's grandma can be affected by it. It doesn't matter if that person makes a lot of money or very little money. And I think the Lord is teaching us that through this crisis, we are all the same. And I think it's time, I know it's time that we start unifying, that we don't just say my church, your church, this church, that church. And what I saw was absolutely incredible. Just this worship leader gathering with this worship leader to create one worship team. This prayer team gathering with this prayer team to create one big prayer team. And even in my vision that I was having, the preachers had a preaching schedule. It was so amazing. It was so amazing. So in all these preachers preaching all these separate sermons, everybody was tuning in at the same time, the same church, same thing, and all these preachers took turns. It was phenomenal. And they even had something called Bible Bowl, which was it was all of these churches that you know of. Won't mention any names here, but all these churches that you know of just getting together to just have some fun and release the tension. What would happen is there would be like a hat, and all the scriptures would be in a hat, and someone would read a scripture, and this was all on Zoom or some online service. They would read a scripture, and all the pastors would try and find the scripture in an old school Bible. They had old school literal Bibles. You weren't allowed to use your iPad and whatever. You had to have an old school Bible, and all of them would rush and read these passages, and and, and whoever got the passage in 30 seconds would win. And they weren't playing for themselves, they were playing for someone in their congregation. So, for example, TD Jakes would be playing for someone in Potter's house and something, and it was like a tournament just using Zoom, and everybody got so excited as to who would win, and it was just, and that we had one big worship service. It was one big worship service. Worship leaders from this church and that church would just come together to worship God, and we did old school songs, we did hymns, we did modern worship, we did rock, we did gospel, and all these worship leaders from different churches would come together. And all of that. And the preaching schedule, the preachers, after the worship leaders were done, the preachers would come on, and every week there was a different preacher. They had a schedule, and they would take turns, and there would be like so they would preach one day, someone would preach, and another week someone else would preach, and it was like one online number to give, or texting number, or we all had one account to receive the giving. And what they would do is split whatever came in between all the churches. So it was a really amazing vision of unity. I said, Lord, help us get there. And unity doesn't start that big. It starts small. So even if 2 or 3 churches could get together online and have services together online, that would be a start. This won't happen overnight. This will be a process. But the Lord's saying, begin the process now. Father, I pray for unity in your body. God, I pray. We've been separated for too long. And Lord, I pray that you will just unify us in this crisis. And I pray that after this, the lessons that we take from this will live on and on. Lord God, I pray that your spirit will dwell with your people. And maybe for strengthen your soldiers, strengthen your leaders to declare the word of the Lord. In the name of Jesus, amen and amen. Okay, guys, I'll see you hopefully tomorrow.